you recording?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Yeah, so good evening, and thank you all for joining tonight for the Homegrown Food Council's meeting. I would like to start by noting that this meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized by the Minnesota statute, section 13D.021, due to the declared local health pandemic. We're pleased to also be welcoming community members to tonight's virtual meeting. Rather than only calling in by phone, community members can now join using Teams. Please keep yourself muted at all times that you're not speaking, and to keep the meeting moving along and on schedule, please wait your turn to speak and hold questions until the end of each speaker's presentation. Also remember that there is a chat function, but please remember that those who are calling in by phone cannot see the chat, and everything typed in the chat will be posted in the public meeting minutes. So it's public record, just to remind everybody. And I'll do my best to verbally communicate relevant information that appears in the chat, but would also encourage folks to share pertinent information verbally rather than relying on the chat. Now, I will now call this meeting to order and ask Tamara to call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum. Council members, when Tamara call your name, please say present, but also introduce yourself briefly with your organizations or affiliation as applicable. Tamara, you want to start with the roll?
Yes, thank you. And please correct me if I am inadvertently mispronouncing your name. I'll do my best. Kevelyn Alendez.
Hey everyone, this is Kevelyn Alendez, present. I work for the Dakota County Public Health Department. I'm a Minneapolis resident and am also part-time faculty at the Johns Hopkins Center for American Indian Health.
Jenny Breen.
Hi everyone, Jenny Breen. I am a local chef and nutrition and food systems educator. I teach at the University of Minnesota, and I also have my own consulting company called Transforming the Table.
Keely Cervantes.
Hi, my name is Keely. I work at Conservation Minnesota. I'm the Food and Agriculture Program Manager there. And I live in South Minneapolis, and I'm really happy to be joining the council this year.
Thank you. Matt Kirsten.
Hello, I'm Matt Kirsten. I'm a Northeast Minneapolis resident, and I'm thrilled to be joining the council this year.
Jalen Elam.
Hi, everybody. Jalen Elam. I am somewhat new to the area. I'm a food scientist and I work at General Mills. Super happy to be meeting you guys and joining the council.
Thanks. Kevin Ellis. Kevin Ellis. Nolan Green.
Hi, I'm Nolan Green. I'm a produce manager at Twin Cities Co-op Partners, and this is my second time being on the council.
Welcome back. Brandon Griffin.
Hi there, Brandon Griffin. Work at the Sane Foundation, and happy to be here.
Becca Gross.
Hey everybody, I'm Becca Gross. I work for the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board as the Community Garden Coordinator, and this will be my second term on the Food Council. Nice to see some new faces.
I believe Kevin has joined us. Kevin Ellis.
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry, I'm having technical issues on my end. But I'm Kevin Ellis. I'm a conservation specialist with Hennepin County, and this is my first time on the council. Excited to be here, regardless of technical difficulties.
Thanks. We're all working through it on our own technical challenges, I'm sure. Kim Havey. I know Kim has noted that he may be about an hour late due to a conflict. Andrea Inoue.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Inoue. I'm the representative of the mayor's office here on the Food Council, and this will be my first official term. I swapped in sort of halfway through last term, so I've been involved since about the summer of 2020. So looking forward to a full term with you all this year.
Danielle Isaacson.
Hi, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. So I'm Danielle Isaacson. I work with the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, specifically with the Egg Water Quality Certification Program. Nice to meet you.
Co-Chair Marcus Carr.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marcus Carr, your new co-chair, and I'm the director of programming at Youth Farm in North Minneapolis. I'm sorry, my lighting is kind of weird. I look midnight purple right now. I can see myself. But I just want to say I really appreciate being here this year. I believe this is my third or fourth year here. I'm not sure, camera. And yeah, I'm looking forward to coming work we're doing here at the Food Council.
We're excited to have you. Kevin Keoprasous. Kevin? Kristin Klingler.
Oh, there you go. I was on mute. Hi, everybody. Sorry, it's kind of dark. I'm in the car right now, but glad to be here. I'm with the City of Minneapolis Health Department, Food, Lodging, and Pool section. Nice to meet everyone.
Kristin Klingler.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Klingler. I am also representing the Minneapolis Health Department. I serve on the Healthy Living team, and I focus on nutrition and healthy eating and food access. And I'm a returning Food Council member.
Will Lucker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Will. I'm a Minneapolis resident living in downtown, and I'm representing CAPI USA, which is a immigrant and refugee-centered food shelf up in Brooklyn Center. And I'm the housing stability coordinator, focusing on food security and housing stability for pretty much anybody in the 7-county metro area, but especially Minneapolis. So,
James Miller.
Hi, everyone. My name is James. I'm a Minneapolis resident and community representative, and was formerly working at Youth Prize, but I'm kind of in between roles. But just super excited to be here and meet everyone.
Thanks. Leslie Modric.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leslie Modric, and I'm the community representative, new community representative of Minneapolis Parks and Rec. I'm excited to be here.
Liz Mullen.
Hi, everyone. Liz Mullen, executive chef at Chow Girls Catering in Northeast Minneapolis. I live in South Minneapolis, and founding chef of Minnesota Central Kitchen in partnership with Second Harvest Heartland, making prepared meals for the community. So excited to be here. Thank you.
Devon Nolan.
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute. And I hope my camera's working. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me. So, yeah, Devon Nolan. I am native to the beloved north side of Minneapolis, and I am a returning Food Council member. I manage the West Broadway Farmers Market here in North Minneapolis as a project of Appetite for Change, and really excited to be working with you all.
Thanks, Devon. Helen Schnoes.
Hi, everyone. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Helen Schnoes, returning member as well. Marcus, I think it's our second term, third year, if maybe the counting goes. Yeah, great to be here. I'm working with the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District as our outreach manager and also serve on the board of Renewing the Countryside. I'm the Minneapolis Public Schools rep. I'm a South High grad, and my husband is also a Minneapolis Public School teacher. So excited for the work we get to do together.
Kate Siebold.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Siebold, and I'm currently representing Minneapolis Public Schools on the council. For a few more days, I'm the farm to school coordinator for the district, and I'm sad to say that this is, after 5 wonderful years, my last food council meeting with all of you, and I'm an outgoing co-chair, so I'm going to savor this last meeting tonight.
Sorry, I got distracted by your announcement, Kate. It's been a pleasure working together. Julie Wong.
Hi, my name is Julie Wong. I'm the founder of U Fisheries. We make smoked salmon and jerky, currently in Farmers Market and the Seward Co-op. It's my first term. I'm new to the council.
Well, welcome all. With 22 members, we do have a quorum.
Well, that's beautiful. I just want to welcome everybody. This is about to be an amazing year. I hope we're looking forward to healing from the past couple of years of doing this work and being present in our communities and media environment. At this time, though, if there's any community member who have called in, please feel free to unmute and briefly introduce yourself with your name, your organization, affiliation, as it applies to you. Any community member on the call right now?
Hi all, I can kick us off. I am Grace Rude. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista working in Homegrown with Tamara as staff support. Happy to be here and see so many new faces. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Abdi Khalik Sahal. I'm the food security specialist at Homegrown Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis. Really excited to kind of be helping and supporting along with Grace and Tamara, this wonderful, amazing group we have here, and looking forward to get to know everyone well as well. Thanks.
And I'll round out the staff contingent. In this meeting, I'm Patty Bullard, the Director of Policy and Healthy Communities for the Minneapolis Health Department, and the Minneapolis Health Department oversees Homegrown.
Hey, Patty.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom. I'm also with Homegrown. I work with Grace, Abdi Khalik, Olivia with Patty, and Tamara, and I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, I did not introduce myself. I am Tamara Downs-Schwei, Homegrown Minneapolis coordinator and staff of the Food Council. Really appreciate having the collaboration and support of all these other wonderful Homegrown Minneapolis team members who've joined to help present and troubleshoot our meeting and all the work. Very excited to see everyone here too.
Beautiful. How are we doing for time, Tamara? Any more community members?
I think we can move to our next agenda item.
Awesome. Well, thank everybody. Thank you all so much, community members, for joining us for tonight's meeting. With that, we will proceed to our agenda, a copy of which was posted in the public access of the city legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. if you do want to find that. For the two items, Tamara would need to adapt the agenda and to accept the minutes for, is it December and November?
We will adopt the December minutes. I think we'll have to add the November minutes for the next meeting since they were administrative challenge in having them be included here. And I know this group was not officially the members for either of those meetings, but as those who called in know, the December meeting was unable to happen due to a lack of quorum. So we all had a lesson in importance of meeting our minimum attendance and what the implication is if we don't get there. But December minutes are basically the postponement of those items, and the November minutes we can loop into our adoption in the February meeting.
Beautiful. So our first two items of business is the adoption of the agenda for tonight's meeting, followed by the acceptance of the minutes from our last December meeting. We can combine these two items of business if we receive a proper motion. May I have a move for the council members to approve the agenda and accept the December 13 minutes? The December minutes.
Do we want to do it all in one motion, Markin?
I
Is
do
that what we're
want,
doing?
yeah, I do want to do it all in one motion. I apologize for that.
Thank you. And I'll second the motion that I heard come through.
sorry.
Helen, I'll move to adopt the agenda and minutes. January agenda, December minutes.
That was a second from.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
We have a proper motion before us. Is there any discussion before Tamara takes roll again? Anyone? Okay. With that, I ask Tamara to take roll on the motion. When you hear your name, please say yay or nay to indicate your stance. Tamara?
Okay, here we go again. Kavelyn Alandis.
Yay.
Jenny Breen.
Yay.
Elise Cervantes.
Yay.
Kristin.
Yay.
Jalen Elam.
Yay.
Devon Ellis.
Yay.
Ellen Green.
Yay.
Brandon Griffin.
Yay.
Gross.
Yay.
Evie. Andrea Inouye.
Yay.
Danielle Isaacson.
Yay.
Marcus Carr.
Yay.
Kevin K.O. Pursuth.
Yay.
Kristen Klingler.
Yay.
Will Lucker.
Yay.
James Miller.
Yay.
Leslie Modric.
Yay.
Liz Mullen.
Yay.
Devon Nolan.
Yay.
Ellen Schnoes.
Yay.
Kate Siebold.
Yay.
Julie Wong.
Yay.
22 yays, that motion passes.
Okay. What's next on this agenda here, Tamara?
If Sega Tamina has arrived, she and Kate Siebold, I believe, will be sharing some remarks for us to help us ceremoniously move from the last term into our new era together?
Yeah, for sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sega Tamana, and I served as one of the co-chairs for Homegrown Minneapolis Food Council, for those of you who I do not know, for the past 2 years, beginning in 2020, and through the pandemic, through the pain and unrest in the streets of our city, and through the last year as well. And I've had the one and only Kate Siebold by my side. So I know you've already introduced yourself, but if you want to share who you are again, Kate.
Yeah, hi everyone, Kate Siebold. And like Sega said, we've been co-chairs the last 2 years, and they've been a whirlwind of 2 years, and 2 years like no other on the Food Council, but really rewarding 2 years of time. And I'll, I don't know what you're planning to say, Sega, but I'll just say, it's, looking back at Food Council, I've been on for 5 years, so there's been a few different terms. And I've always said that one of my favorite things about the Food Council is just the people on it, and what an incredible space that Homegrown creates to bring together so many passionate and incredibly talented and experienced people who are working to make a better food system in our community. And so much great work comes out of the Food Council itself, but I think there's just invaluable relationships that come out of it, that people that you can tap in your everyday work or in your personal life for things, and just these connections have just been really, really wonderful to make. And so, to all of those who served on the Food Council when Seg and I were co-chairs, or even beyond that, it's been so wonderful to get to work with you. And for all of you who are just joining on, I'm sad to not get to serve alongside you, but I think we still get to count as all being, Food Council friends, and hope we can stay in touch. I'm a district appointed position, and so I am transitioning out of my role at Minneapolis Public Schools, and so there will be a new person coming into the role here very soon, hopefully, once they get hired. And that's another thing that I'll announce later, and I'll drop the link in for the job posting. But I just want to say thank you. It's been a really wonderful experience. And the Food Action Plan, which all these new members are going to learn about soon, is such an incredibly exciting piece of work happening, and a labor of love for many years of the Food Council. And I can't wait to see it come to fruition. And I'll be cheering on from the sidelines. So I'll pass it back to you, Sega.
Right on. I will echo the big thanks and gratitude, especially since we only had, I think, 1 or 2 meetings before we were virtual for the past 2 years. So, for those of you who were part of Homegrown for those 2 years, you've seen up my nostrils, every angle humanly possible, through every tech failure, every long sigh at the end of a long day. And it was always welcomed, and this was always a space of reprieve and exhale, and sometimes a space to step back, sometimes a space to show up with whatever energy that we had to bring. So I appreciate that grace and just the space that was co-created the past few years. I am still around. I'm at Pillsbury United Communities, supporting data and evaluation across our agency. And for those of you who know Pillsbury United, we do quite a bit of food work, among other things. So I'll be in community alongside many of you still, but I just won't be showing up in this space in the same capacity, which is bittersweet. On the other side of this, Kate has a whole baby, and
Cheers! Yay!
I feel like many transitions over the past 2 years have taught me a lot, have grown me a lot, have sat me down in a lot of ways, have fired me up in a lot of ways. So I'm just extremely grateful, and especially grateful to have been able to come into this role after Tasha Paula and Devon Nolan, who were the two fierce co-chairs before us. And then to see the position, or at least part of the position, taken on by my good friend Marcus Carr, who is just fabulous and brilliant and holds space in such a powerful, unique way that I'm excited to see for you all in the next year and beyond. So with that, yeah, thank you and excited for what's to come.
And I'll just say quickly, Marcus, you are going to be such a phenomenal co-chair. Thank you so much for taking on this role, and we're so happy to pass the torch to Marcus and to the other co-chair to be elected here coming up. So we're excited to pass it off. And yeah, Marcus, thank you so much for your leadership.
Yeah, thanks to both of you. It's big shoes to fill. You know, I'm looking forward to learning a lot, but I am going to miss the two of you here. You know, you make this work, you know, worth it. And just being here, it's been something that I've absorbed a lot of experience and knowledge from just being a part of these conversations. So, yeah, thank you for that, Kate. And then, am I speaking now, Tamara? I need your lead here.
Yes, I think you are going to lead us in the breathing exercise when you were ready to do that after your remarks.
That's beautiful. Yeah, but you know, it's funny that you know, Tegat mentioned you know, a space to breathe and stuff. I feel like, you know, before we kick this year off, it'd be a good thing for us to like start by just taking a couple of breaths. Right. I hope everyone is in a place where they can do that. Does anyone opposed to trying something like that with me right now? Awesome. Yeah, it's been a pretty hard couple of years, and we're going to start off by just relaxing. What I've been doing with my group of kids in North Minneapolis is really trying to exercise starting work by inhaling and exhaling 6 breaths together. I usually have like some kind of chime or something that cues us for inhaling. This time I'm just going to hit on my water glass. I hope everyone can hear that. Does that work? Okay, here we go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Deep breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. And that's that. How are we feeling? Awesome. Just have everyone sit with that for a second. Okay. So next, Tamara, I believe we're going to have the Food Council member introduction activities, which I just started off.
Yes.
It'll be awesome. The Homegrown Minneapolis Food Council orientation, something I think we're at next.
Correct. So Tong, Tao, and I from our Homegrown office will help to launch a very quick Menti poll of a couple questions for the group, and that will be followed by another round. We're going to get to hear each other's voices and see each other's faces multiple times tonight, and this next time will be in a bit more of a informal way, without in the midst of a roll call or a vote. We're going to have a couple hopefully easy questions, but you will get to take a moment to think about what you'd like to share regarding your personal or professional connection or passion to the food system. No right or wrong answer there. And the second question on the Menti poll, which we'll give you the link to in a moment, will be in relation to at least one goal or hope for the time together with the Food Council. And what we'll do after we do Menti is we will take a moment with, or 30 to 60 moments with each of the members getting a chance to reintroduce yourself and share what you'd be comfortable with from those questions. And so what we'd like to do with the Menti is record those in a way that could be created as an artifact of our conversation into a word cloud from each of those questions. And then we'll have that as a group, but then we'll still get that chance to verbally share as well. So Tong will lead us in the Menti first, and then Marcus will take our roster and one by one call on folks to be able to share for those questions. And I'll jump in and support wherever helpful. But we'll start. Tong, can you direct folks to where they ought to go on Menti to be responding to these prompts?
Yep, so I put it into the chat. There's a link to Menti. And then once you get there, you can enter in the code 52871896. I'm also going to share my screen, and there's the instruction on the top of the PowerPoint along with the question.
And is that menti.com, Tong?
Yep, it's menti.com, www.menti.com. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll take a little time for everybody who is able to go to menti.com, enter the 52871896, and share your 1 to 5 words describing your personal or professional connection to the local food system. And we'll just sit here and watch our word cloud evolve. So we have 22 folks, 19 responses, 21. Okay, we're close, I think. 22 there. Is there anyone who's not responded that still needs a moment? Well, we will save this for the group, but I love seeing community at the center of this word cloud. I think it is so representative of this work. And of course, cooking and eating and justice. Really excited to coming together with those areas of alignment. Well, it looks like we could probably move to the next prompt, Tom.
So the next prompt is, please share 1 to 5 words describing a goal or hope for our work together this year.
Just provided another moment or two here. Well, that is a wonderful set of words. You know, take a moment here to appreciate our very, very colorful and beautiful set of words. And I will thank Tong for setting this up and all of you for contributing the written word, and pass it back to Marcus to give you all a chance to verbally share what you would like related to each of these prompts, and a reintroduction of yourselves so we can continue getting to know each other.
Beautiful. Okay. Bear with me for a second here, Tamara. I seem to have lost my window here.
Happens to me a lot. I can relate, as many of us likely can.
Let's see.
If you'd like me to resend you the roster, I'm happy to do that.
I just pulled it up. Okay, I'm just gonna go down the roster, giving everyone an opportunity to reintroduce themselves, correct?
Yes, and with whatever folks would like to share in relation to these two prompts that we just used the Menti for.
Beautiful. First, we'll start with Kevin Allandis. If I say your name wrong, please correct me. I apologize for that. Yeah, Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Kavelyn. I tell people like a cave to help remember how to say it. Excuse me. So my 5 words for the first question were growing, eater, health, leverage point, and transformation. And I chose those because I first felt like my heart connected to the food system when I was vegetable gardening as a high school student and a college student, and really connecting with food in that way and recognizing that I could grow the things that would then be on my plate and how special that was. And I studied food systems at the University of Minnesota as an undergraduate student. And part of my motivation for doing that was just recognizing that food is just this really special leverage point where human and environmental health come together. And then my current work is in public health and trying to build equitable systems related to health and to build health equity and justice. So I hope our work moving forward will really be focused on equity, justice, building healthy communities through food security, and that we are, sorry, my voice is all funny tonight, that we take bold, transformative steps together.
It's beautiful. Thank you for that. Next on our roster is Jenny Breen.
Yeah, I can tell that I'm going to have to ask you to reorganize the roster every once in a while. So I don't always have to be at the front, but, and I would say Kavelyn, who I have known for a long time, said it beautifully. So I don't, I feel like you spoke my truth as well. I would add a couple things. I have been working in food systems and in this space for a really long time. In fact, I was involved in the creation of Homegrown Minneapolis. What was it? 15 years ago, Kristin? I don't remember, but a long time ago. And so it's for me, and this is my first time on the council, it's exciting to kind of be on the other side, to really dig into, this conversation. I am an educator, and so teaching and educating and engaging people, whether they're students at the university or community folks or my colleagues and people that I'm sharing the council with, or any of the number of different hats that I wear. So I feel that education is really, really fundamental to all of this work. And teaching is one of the words that I put up there. I don't see teaching in the traditional sense, but I see it in terms of how we get our work done and change the system. And I'm pretty passionate about that change. That's why I've been doing this work for so long. I'm very, very excited about the food action plan and want to make sure that that moves forward. That was a big motivator for me to want to join the council at this time, because these are visions and ideas and hopes that I've been invested in for a really long time. So that's a big motivator for me, and always meeting new collaborators, partners in this work, and reconnecting with old ones, both of whom are in this group. So
thank you for that, Jenny. I look forward to picking your brain at some point. I could use all the education I can get. Next on the roster would be Keely Cervantes.
Hi, I am Keely. I am thinking a lot about how urban agriculture and rural agriculture should meet in the middle, in a way that we all eat, and we all need to sort of be connected to our food, and that's not a reality for a lot of people. I grew up on a dairy farm and spent a lot of time doing different community organizing things around gardening and food. I lived on the East Coast for a while and did an AmeriCorps service term in New York City, where we were working at the Housing Authority doing different projects with community members who lived in public housing developments, and trying to figure out how we could do things with zero money, which continues to kind of be a thing about the food system, is that there's not a lot of thought placed on how to fund community-driven agriculture. So I'm really excited about this action plan of how community members can take ownership of the way that we exist and eat, and try to connect with each other in a city like Minneapolis. I went to the University of Minnesota, and having just been here as a student and now coming back here and living as a mom, and trying to reconnect through this group, I think is really exciting for me. And my work at Conservation Minnesota, trying to think about how soil health and sustainable agriculture has to be all the way from, you know, local gardens through to bigger, you know, agriculture and family farms throughout the state. So it's very much an issue that small family farmers are thinking about as well, and trying to find the right resources. And I think policy is a big catalyst for changing the way that people give themselves permission to change and try something new. So I'm really excited about this.
It's beautiful. That's my area. I look forward to that too. Thank you for that. Okay. Next on the roster would be Matt Kirsten.
Hello. I guess I think the main word that I really focused on was community, and like my first connection to sort of the food system was my first job out of college. I was a line cook at Sea Salt Eatery and at Minnehaha Falls, and so I learned how much of a hub food was for gathering folks together. And then later, more recently, I served in Congressman Keith Ellison's office, where I met Marcus and Devon and many of you other folks, and we convened what we call the Food Security Roundtable to inform Keith's policy work around the Farm Bill. And so, really got a lot out of the passion and the great network of organizations that are doing meaningful work on our food system, and wanted to sort of remain engaged and involved in that work.
It's amazing. It's nice seeing you again, brother. And thank you for the work you're doing. Next on our roster would be Jaylene Elam.
Hi, everybody. Jaylene Elam. A lot of people call me Jay, so feel free to call me that as well. Let's see. So for me, food has really just always been a common thread in my life, just like from an early age. And so eventually I became obsessed with learning as much as I can about it, and decided to study food science in school, which led me to, even just learning that there was a science and that I could study that in college was kind of mind blowing for me. But that led me to enroll at Tuskegee University, which, you know, pioneer in terms of like research in agriculture and George Washington Carver. And so I think that experience just like really fit for me, and just kind of spoke to the alignment that I had in the food space, and eventually led me to research and development, sensory science, and really getting into the weeds of like actually creating and innovating food products. And so I think that, you know, now that I've had experience on that side, I'm really interested in growing the impact that, you know, that food has, and the impact that's needed in our communities. And so really joining the Food Council for me was one way to start building on that within my journey in food. So really excited to be here and learn from you guys as well.
It's beautiful. Yeah, welcome, and thanks for being here with us, Jaylee. Next on our roster is Kevin Ellis.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Ellis. I'm actually not from the Midwest originally. I grew up in rural Texas, outside of Dallas, essentially. My background originally was in animal science, and more specifically poultry science, which is kind of how I fell backwards into the food policy realm. I was living in San Antonio at the time and got brought in to help use my expertise in chickens to settle a dispute between the city and backyard chicken owners. And from that, I got real invested in the Food Policy Council in San Antonio, And one of the words I used was cycles, just because I think what we call the food system is kind of in the middle of a lot of cycles that are all happening at different times, all at the same time, especially in cities. You know, there's people are coming and going, buildings are popping up or coming down, seasons, things are growing, and I just find all that really fascinating. So from there, I went to the Sustainable Ag program at Iowa State University, where I got degrees in Sustainable Ag and Urban and Regional Planning. And now I'm here working as a conservation specialist for Hennepin County, helping to work on soil and water conservation projects, work with farmers in Western Hennepin County, try and do some work here within the city of Minneapolis as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to dig in on all the work here and contribute what I can.
It's beautiful. Welcome. Yeah. Next on our list would be Nolan Green.
Hi, Nolan Green. Again, I represent Twin Cities Co-op Partners, which is an organic and local produced foods warehouse and two grocery retail stores, The Wedge and Linden Hills Co-op. And I have been working with food for 25 plus years now in all sorts of various roles, from restaurants to grocery to consulting for co-ops across the country, and have been living in Minneapolis for the past 15 years with my wife. And, you know, again, for me, being a part of the Food Council has a lot of different, you know, reasons why I made my way here. One is a huge passion for food in general. And two, knowing that I've had an opportunity in my life many times to, you know, learn about food and be involved with food, I realize that there's a lot of people who don't even have the access or where, you know, knowledge to know where to go for these things, or even just anyone who is going to, you know, introduce them to these things. So I feel, you know, that it's kind of something that I want to be passionate about is just kind of finding ways where we can bring that to our community. And on the flip side, being very good stewards to our environment and to the world around us to make sure that we are doing our best to make it better for the future generations. So, and that's why I'm here a second time. So
That's beautiful, Nolan. Yeah, good to see you again.
You too.
Next on our roster will be Brandon Griffin.
Hi there, Brandon Griffin with the Sane Foundation. Primarily, my job is working and helping provide food resources to food deserts and underrepresented, underserved communities through the Twin Cities Metro. Really, in our first exercise, looking at the spirit of collaboration, looking at a lot of people and familiar faces on this call, which is awesome, and helping better serve our community, you know, addressing food deserts, and just really advocating for different communities and people that we serve, and you know, just looking forward to making connections and being very innovative. A lot of the people on this call that I've already shared, and also I've worked with previously, have a lot of innovative programs or ways we partnered previously. So just looking at ways that we can really help make and move the needle in addressing food insecurity and finding sustainable outcomes and how we can really get food out to people who need it. So really happy to be here. Very excited to learn a lot.
It's beautiful. Welcome. Next on our roster would be Rebecca Gross. Rebecca, is Rebecca on the call? Okay. I think we can move to the next person. Would be Kim. Did someone say something? Is Rebecca on there? We'll go to Kim Havey.
Marcus, I don't think Kim is here today.
Awesome. Andrea Inouye.
Hi, everybody. Andrea Inouye.
The word that I used actually most in both of the prompts was learning. I think my journey here in the Food Council is a little bit different than many of yours, as my professional expertise is not related to the food security, food justice world, but is rather in affordable housing policy and development. I have been through quite the crash course in this world, starting in the summer of 2020 as the city of Minneapolis got more directly involved, a sort of hands-on way in food security and food deserts during that time, and have really enjoyed my time on the Food Council, learning from all of you about the wonderful work that's happening here in Minneapolis around food security and food justice. I think the longer I participate in this, the more I see the connections between affordable housing and food security, and how in affordable housing, we know that everybody needs healthy and affordable housing, and the same is true in the food world as well, that the needs are healthy and affordable food, and those are both things that we need to make our families and our neighbors and our kids healthy and successful and able to participate in all the things they want to in our community. So happy to be continuing this journey with you all.
It's good seeing you again. Welcome. Next on the list will be Danielle Isaacson.
Thank you, Marcus. And hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with such an impressive group of people and inspiring people. And so, again, I work with the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, excuse me, and specifically with a program called the Ag Water Quality Certification Program. So we work with producers throughout the state, both urban, up to the 1,000-acre row crop folks to implement conservation practices that protect, water quality, soil health, carbon sequestration, ecosystem services, all that good stuff. We also have some really great close partnerships with organizations around the state, such as Renewing the Countryside, which I heard mentioned today. And so it's just so great to be here and be connecting with you all. So getting to the question, so what words came to mind for me? One of the first ones was environment. I mean, that's my kind of educational background. So that's kind of really where it started for me with the connection to agriculture, but also community. I'm one of those folks that contributed to that community on the word cloud. I've been involved with my neighborhood association, which I'm in Nokomis East, so down by Lake Nokomis, by the VA. And so throughout the pandemic, the neighborhood association has put together this really robust and impressive food distribution program and set of events. And so just getting to volunteer and work with them, I've found that to be really inspiring and energizing. Of course, my profession also kind of brings me to this space. And then I'll also share that I had my first kiddo, or my only kiddo, at the beginning of the pandemic, right? 2 weeks before the state shut down. So I feel like I have this new perspective thinking about children's nutrition and access for kids and schools. And so that's something that's on my mind as well. And then for the next question, kind of a couple things that I'm really excited to learn more about or be more involved in and focus on is food security. Of course, so many ways to approach that and so many ways to think about that and opportunities, but I think that's a really important focus for the city. And then I'm also thinking about how to support kind of the local growers and producers in the city. There certainly are quite a few, and kind of what their markets are, and that really super local economy, of course, with kind of that important focus on equity and cultural resources and access and all that good stuff. So there's a lot that I'm excited about. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to learning as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for that. And that's amazing. We need support in all those things you just named, and look forward to being on this council with you. Next on our list would be Kevin Kilperseth. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Kilperseth.
Kilperseth.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Kilperseth. I'm with the State of Minneapolis Health Department, the Food, Lodging, and Pool division. Mainly, yeah, my profession brought me to this council. Our group, we do food inspections. We're regulatory inspectors, basically, inspecting lodging, motels, hotels, mostly restaurants for food safety. But I'm here in a capacity where I don't want folks to look at us as just regulators, but look at us as a resource group and a support group. Want you to ask the hard questions, and hopefully I could provide the support and the answers that to get where we need to get. So yeah, look at us as a resource, and we have tons of people on our team that are in farmers market, food security, short-term events, very different sections of food safety and the food realm. So please, just use us as a great resource. So I'm glad to be here.
Beautiful, welcome, Kevin. Next on the list will be Kristin Klingler.
Thanks, Marcus. Hi again, everyone. This is Kristen from the Minneapolis Health Department. I am a local food system supporter, of course, as an individual consumer, but also in my role on the Healthy Living team at the Minneapolis Health Department. And I hope that I can bring a public health perspective to our Food Council work. To me, it's really important to talk about how our individual food and beverage choices are shaped by policies and our built environment. And it's not just a simple matter of deciding that we want to eat good food or nutritious food, but it really is shaped by our community around us. And I think the Food Council plays such an important role in advocating for changes that can make community healthier and can make good health available for everyone. You'll probably also hear me talk about beverages as much as I talk about food, because to me it's just as important about what we are drinking as to what we're eating. So you'll probably hear me mention the Health Department's Rethink Your Drink initiative, trying to promote tap water consumption instead of sugary drinks. And I think the word cloud words that I really tried to contribute and that resonated with me were ones about relationship and support and connection. I'm looking forward to learning from all of you about the good work that's happening that you're aware of, and just trying to build new relationships so that we can do things together. So nice to be here with everyone.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's amazing having you back, and looking forward to approaching the possibilities with you. Next on the list will be Will Locker.
Thank you, Marcus. Hi, everyone. So my name's Will. I'm representing CAPI USA. When I originally applied for the Food Council, I was actually the food shelf referral and intake coordinator. I have since moved on to being the housing stability coordinator, but because of staffing shortfalls and everything, I'm still working in the food shelf very consistently. And a lot of my projects, both in and out of housing stability, overlap with a lot of the food system work we've been doing. I've only been in the industry, so to speak, for maybe about 2.5 going on 3 years. I was working at Pillsbury United Communities after I had worked at CAPI my first time in AmeriCorps back in 2019, 2020. And from there, most of my experience there and here at CAPI has been direct services within the food system. So physically, like bringing people in, doing government compliance paperwork, and then physically giving them food, or physically picking up food to eventually go give to them. And that's kind of been my focus in that work for the last few years. Army guy, veteran with the National Guard. So kind of like that very task and purpose driven, just physically giving the thing to people has been kind of the extent of my knowledge. And my hopes on the Food Council mostly include wanting to talk about like funding for more staffing opportunities within food shelves, especially within underserved and historically excluded communities, as well as trying to build a more robust system to get healthy, dry snack foods to unhoused community members. That is something I've recently been taking on just at CAPI, but would also be interested in seeing if there's some way to get that on a more systemic level. So that's kind of where I'm at. so far, and looking forward to see what we all can do.
Yeah, I like the enthusiasm, and I'm welcome. Well, and thank you for your service. I too am a vet, and I really appreciate your presence on this council. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. You too.
Next on the list would be James Miller.
Hi, everyone. I'm James. It's great to meet everyone and hear from folks so far. The 5 words that I pulled kind of across both of the questions were words or phrases, I guess, were community and youth voice, and equity, relationships, and environment. And for me, that kind of like sums up a lot of different moving pieces for me. So I'm fresh out of college, where I studied biology and geography, so lots around like ecosystem science and soil health, and then also food geographies. And I had some like opportunities to be involved with local food production kind of along the way, and then a lot of like youth engagement and youth voice type of work, primarily in connection with Youth Prize. And so I'm kind of in between roles right now, but just really excited and hopeful about all the space that there is for like community-driven food initiatives, and excited about the food action plan as well, and just really looking forward to being in this space with everyone.
Amazing. Yeah, welcome, James. Next on the list will be Leslie Modric.
Hi, everybody. Leslie Modric again. This is my first year. And with the council, I'm really excited, especially after hearing everybody introduce themselves and talk about their interests. I'm a long-term healthcare worker. That's been my profession for many years. And I concurrently spent 16 years in mostly coordination positions at Sioux Line Community Garden, which is located in the city. And it's 30 years of working the soil. It was formerly a brownfield, and just watching the effects of for the past 16 years of people learning how to provide and work for their own food, healthy food, and what a difference that made, and just the accessibility. And the sense of pride and power, self-empowerment. And so that's what really attracted me to the Food Council. I'm a really big believer in community and the power of community and collaboration, and think that's where we all, need to go, especially after these past couple of years. And so that's what really drives me, is working with you all and doing some things around food security, equity, and also preservation of our soil and caring for it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Leslie. Looking forward to absorbing more information and learning alongside you. Next on the list will be Elizabeth Nolan.
Hi, Marcus. Thanks. All these eloquent speakers. Yeah, I'm just first time being on this side of policy. I've never done this before, so I'm really excited. I work for Cowgirls Catering, like I said, in Northeast Minneapolis. It's a woman-owned, sustainable caterer. So we think about systems here quite a bit, not just where our food comes from, but how the waste we create. But the biggest thing that we really focus on is the people. And so that's our clients, but most importantly, our employees. And all these things lead back to people and community, and thinking of not just the food system, but listening to you guys here about housing systems and everything that is so tied together, environmental. And so just really excited to learn from this group. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You're welcome also. Next on our list is the incredible Devon Nolan. Devon, are you here?
Yes, I'm here doing some serious multitasking. It's crazy. So first, Matt, I thought that name was familiar. Good to see you. Jay, I'm so glad you're here. My daughter wants to be a food scientist, and now I get to tell her I know another Black woman who's a food scientist. I'm so excited. And thank you to Kate and Sega for your leadership. It has been amazing to not have to be the co-chair, and everything goes wonderful. So thank you so much. My name is Devon Nolan. As I said earlier, I manage the West Broadway Farmers Market here in North Minneapolis. And I think the words that I put were equality, freedom, liberation. I want to thank the veterans who identify themselves on the call. Thank you for your service, because I know freedom ain't free. What I'm really interested in, having been a part of the food action planning from when it was just a dream, really working on, getting that into the final stages, but really getting to the actions behind it, right? That it's not just a plan that we've all poured our hearts and souls into and community has contributed to, and it just sits on a shelf. We've been very candid about that from the beginning. I'm really interested in the economic approach to what's wrong with our food system, right? Like every issue is an economic issue. These conditions are actually engineered. We are not disparate. You're gonna hear me say that over and over, because my community in North Minneapolis is oftentimes what we talk about when we talk about disparity. We're not disparate. We're actually resource rich. So what happens if we flip that narrative on its head? And I'm also really interested in the connections to, our supporting our local food system. Those of us who are foodies know that our industrialized food system is already failing. It's already failing. Who remembers all those barges that were stuck in the ocean? The foodies knew what that meant, right? But there's a whole population of our community that is not tuned in, tapped in, turned on that way, and will unfortunately be in reactionary mode when things go bad. So what would it look like to have a local, sustainable, just food system, so we're not relying on all that, right? I'm also trying to be concise, because you all said so many wonderful things already. So I'm also interested in this idea of, the connections and how resources get to our city. I have had the wonderful pleasure and privilege of being involved both at state level, regional, national, and now international policy. And so really interested in making those connections through our local grassroots on the ground work here at Homegrown, and how do things like the Farm Bill and the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act and all the federal blah, blah, things. If you want to get into federal policy, we can do that. All those things and how they impact what happens here in our city. So I'm just going to say it. This is a badass group. I'm ready. Let's get her done. Thank you.
Devon Nolan, ladies and gentlemen. It's awesome seeing you again, sister. It's good seeing your face.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Next on our list is Helen Chenot. Please correct me if I pronounce that wrong.
I think she had to step off.
Oh, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Siebel?
Hi, all. Again, I won't talk too long since you already heard me talk earlier. I'll just say, since Helen had to sign off earlier, that as she mentioned earlier, she is the community rep for Minneapolis Public Schools. And, Minneapolis Public Schools is thrilled to have her as our community rep. And she has just a ton of experience in local food systems work, and is also doing really neat work now with the Minnehaha Creek watershed. So I'm sure you'll get to meet her, but we're glad as a school district that she's our rep. And again, I'm attending this meeting while I can, but I'll be transitioning from Minneapolis Public Schools. But our district does hold a permanent spot on the Food Council, and we're so grateful for that. And so As farm to school coordinator for the last 5 years, I've held the position on the council, and there will be a new person stepping into this role. And, you know, I'll speak for them in advance, and I think they'll agree that this is just such an incredible council to be a part of for our district's culinary and wellness services department, and for our farm to school work in particular. So, you know, I work for the district to manage our partnerships with local farms to source local sustainably grown food that we serve to our students, and also think about how we engage students in hands-on learning in the garden and in the classroom and in the cafeteria to learn about where their food comes from, and why they should care about that, and what it means to eat seasonally and locally, and just to learn to see themselves as an active player in their food system. So we're really grateful to be here, and while I'm heading out, I look forward to staying in touch with the Food Council. I'll be headed to the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, still working on developing wholesale markets and supporting farm to school across the state. So I look forward to still attending meetings, and I'm also on the Seward Co-op Board of Directors. So the Food Council is important for our community, and the co-op as well. So I won't be a stranger, and I'll just say, you know, that Minneapolis Public Schools in this next term is really excited to see where all this work takes us. The food action plan in particular is so exciting, and the council is just a really great way that our district can keep our work grounded in community and make sure that we're being a collaborative member of our local food system. So yeah, thanks for all your collaboration to come.
Beautiful. Got to come visit once in a while, Kate. Can't just leave us here. Next on the list would be Julie Wong.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey,
Okay,
Julie.
great. Because I can't see myself, so I'm glad you can hear me, at least. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of Youth Fisheries. I hope to bring the perspective of a food entrepreneur and a small business to the council. Specifically the challenges in bringing food to the tables, to our tables. I have a background in an MBA in entrepreneurship as well as finance, and a dual degree in international relations. So the financial viability of small businesses is also a focus for me, and how food businesses fit into not just the local system, but also in the international system, meaning exports.
Beautiful. Welcome, Julie. I believe that is the last on our list. I didn't, you know, answer the question, or Tamara, so I'm going to go first. Again, my name is Marcus Carr. I am the program director in North Minneapolis for a 26-year-old youth development urban ag organization called Youth Farm. It spans throughout St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's been an awesome experience for me. It's absolutely changed the way I see the world, especially in my immediate environment. The work I've been doing with young people is really to create our own possibilities where we stand, and hope that that's something that connects to everything else outside of us. So the work starts here with us, and where we're living in our communities. Devon Nolan's also a huge part of that work. I'm very proud to be a part of everyone on this call. One thing I am looking for from this experience, and then the reason why I'm going to be here until I can't anymore, I think a part of you all is really trying to figure out how to produce results from some of our efforts in group settings. I am very frequently on the ground. I'm one director that you see in the dirt a lot, running around with the army of babies, and it's my happy place, and I love growing. I'm also, some of the words I used were like farmer, educator, producer. This past year, I started my first farming business, producing ferments and hot sauce, cortitos and kimchis and stuff, and did pretty well. Just as an experiment to show my older youth in high school what this looked like, what the working world could be, and trying to introduce them to another possibility. And because of that, what I gained from that is knowing that they're stronger, healthier, well aware of some of the shifting of our social fabric when it comes to economics, when it comes to their future. I want them to be a part of this conversation. So in the future, you're going to see a lot of young people joining us. And my ask of them is to take notes, and they're my bosses. They get to tell me if I'm doing good or not. So if anyone have any complaint, call my kids. North Minneapolis, we've been on the ground really trying to balance the benefits of nature by creating green spaces that have impact in our neighborhoods in a way that you can't believe. And the proof is in the pudding. This is really the relationships, images, videos, data, the amount of food we grow, the amount of people we feed, the creativity around actually making sure that we're moving on the ground is a very powerful thing. And I'm very proud to be a part of that movement. So I just want to say thank you all for being here. And I'll pass it to Tamara. Tamara, if you're still there, do you want to tell us some of the phrases you used for answering the questions, and what are you looking for from the Food Council this year?
Yeah, thank you. I actually realized I didn't participate since I'm not an official member, but I am really honored to be working with you all as your partner in this city community partnership. I think I can't believe I've been with the city almost 8 years in this role. It just kind of blows my mind. Of course, time is a warp right now, but we identified these goals to build a more just, climate resilient, and equitable local food system and economy. And those are the aspirations and goals I truly, authentically, really strive to help you all accomplish with the food action plan in our work. It's just really, it's been such an honor to be knowing many of you already before in different collaborative work. For me, being in collaboration with community and helping to leverage the city resources and policy to make the change community says is overdue is just really a privilege for me to be your partner. And so I appreciate all of the energy and insights folks have already started bringing to the new cohort, and really look forward to getting to know you all better through this. And I think, Marcus, your point about results, it just really resonates, and I'm here for that. You know, we're here to make some change, and you'll hear more in the meetings to come about changes the Food Council has contributed to in that first round of Homegrown, and in all of the years since. It's been a very, very active group, and you're joining a group that is ready to continue clearly making more change. And so I think, Devon, I think you just popped back. I mean, I think we share that. We're here to see results. The relationships are part of what makes that happen, but the results also speak for themselves of this really important collaborative work. So I just, as your city partner, appreciate getting to do this work together, and am here for your questions and comments behind the scenes. We're still dealing with some administrative technical difficulties in launching the new cohort in our online system, and so appreciate your patience as we try to get all of our systems in sync together. And over these next couple months, I think we'll get that electric vehicle rolling more quietly and slowly down its path. So I think that Rebecca, are you back? I think there was one other person who didn't get to speak. I saw her come back, and now I don't know if you're gone again.
Yes, I'm back. I made it.
Okay.
three times resetting the internet router finally did the trick. Okay. Yeah, I'm Becca Gross. I'm sorry I missed so many of your wonderful introductions.
I've heard Mercury was in retrograde, Becca.
Could be. That could be it. But yeah, so I work for the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, and I coordinate our community garden program, which is kind of main function is to start community gardens in our neighborhood parks that are accessible and run in kind of a different way than a lot of community gardens have been run historically, where we've kind of removed that first come first serve element from the management of the gardens, so that there's always plots available for new people. And I think, well, I feel super lucky for, I would say, two primary things. One is to like get to witness people's first interaction with growing their own food. People who, you know, have never gotten to garden before, getting to work alongside them, and then also to get to work alongside people who have been gardening for 30 years, you know, a lot of elders who now live in apartments and don't have access to land anymore, and get to share their knowledge with, you know, with me and with other people that they garden with. As far as like personal connections, one of the words that I put down was family. I have 2 kids and also live with my 2 nephews. So thinking about them trying to keep 4 kids fed in a day. Sometimes it feels like it's all we're doing is like cooking and preparing food, and putting a lot of effort into like engaging them and where their food comes from, and the kinds of foods that we eat, and appreciating that. So yeah, looking forward to getting to know all of you. And I would say one of my big goals for Food Council this time around, I'm super excited to see the food action plan, you know, really coming to fruition. It's been pretty awesome to be a part of that. And also hoping to connect a lot more with all of you. I was there for a few in-person meetings and then pivoted to virtuals, which is always just more of a challenge to get to know people. So I hope to do more of that, whether it's online or in person eventually. So thanks.
Yeah, welcome back, Rebecca. And, we appreciate your presence on the council. I'm looking forward to, you know, being in person too. I'm what you call a practice extrovert. So I'm really good at being in huge crowds of people. I'm a musician, and I've been in huge crowds of people most of my life. And you know, when I'm done, I run home and go and recharge and get ready to do it again. And it's been the story of my life doing this work. It's just really engaging people on the ground and gathering the herd around the, you know, like the subject itself. So yeah, welcome, and looking forward to working with you this year. And I think Andrea from the city's office. Let's see what's next on this agenda here. So we're going to move on to, sorry, I lost my page again. We're going to move on to Andrea from the city office, talking to us a little bit about the mayor's office in the city of Minneapolis. Is Andrea on the call?
Yep, I'm right here. Hi everyone, me again. Tamara asked me just to talk a little bit about sort of the context of how the Homegrown Food Council sort of exists in context with the work of the city of Minneapolis, just to help give a little bit of context and grounding as this work starts. So I'm going to be pretty brief, but just to give you a little bit of sense of how your work interacts with our work here within the city. So we've got many boards and commissions that meet on all kinds of different topics. Personally, I get to be involved not only with the Food Council, but also with the Advisory Committee for Housing and the Advisory Committee on Aging. So there's just a couple examples of other kinds of groups that meet to talk about important issues in the city. The purpose of the boards and commissions are to help shape public policy by advising the mayor and the city council. So sort of the question is, how does that advising happen? In the Food Council, which is different for different boards and commissions, the Food Council has a mayor's representative, which is myself, and then a city council representative, who hopefully will be joining us in the February meeting with a new term. They're still sorting out which council members are joining which committees. And so on the Food Council, we formally participate in the council itself. Other committees have sort of more of an adjacent role where for the Housing Committee, for example, I attend all those meetings. I'm there to answer questions and fill in information if people want, but I don't participate actively in the committee itself, just there more as an informational purpose. So different committees function in different ways. But in terms of the advising, I think there's sort of two pieces. There's the formal and the informal. And so the formal, which we've talked, various people have talked quite a bit about, one of the ways to do that is through an action plan, like the food action plan that this committee has been so lovingly working on for the past few years. And so that's where the committees can create a document that eventually becomes something that's passed by the council that will become part of sort of the guiding documents that we use when we are then going to create policy development or program and project implementation. So things that we refer back to. And there's lots of other examples in the city of those kinds of plans, like the Climate Action Plan, the Transportation Action Plan, our Strategic Racial and Equity Action Plan. So those are all documents that as we're going about the daily work of the city, that we refer back to those documents as to our priorities and the work that the committees or other groups have done through community engagement to create those plans that help us guide our work. The other sort of formal way that committees sometimes provide their advice and counsel to the mayor and city council is through sort of letters of support or comment. So if there's a particular policy that's being considered by the city council or during the budget process for the mayor's office, if this committee wants to provide a letter with comments, suggestions, that's another formal way that's always welcome to participate. And then sort of informally is my presence, as well as in the future the city council's presence, to really be here and participate and hear and learn. As I mentioned before, my professional expertise is in a different area, so I really see my role in the mayor's office on this committee as really listening and taking in information and learning as much as I can, so that as we're making decisions around the budget or identifying opportunities or gaps in the work that we're doing, that I can use the information that's talked about here to help inform some of those conversations. I think a good example of that is we worked really closely with Tamara and team over the last year and a half around additional emergency food security funding through the CARES funding that we received, as well as through the first round of the American Rescue Plan. So really the work of this council and the work that Tamara and her team does with Homegrown were able to help us identify that was a priority issue that we really needed to spend some of our emergency resources on. The other thing I'll just quickly mention is, because there's lots of conversations out in the community about this right now, is the government structure. As you may have been paying attention to during the election, one of the charter amendment questions that passed was a change in the government structure, which sort of reorganizes some of the different sort of roles and responsibilities and authorities between the mayor and the council. The short answer is there's still a lot of things that are being worked out about what does that really mean in terms of the implementation phase. But I think the easiest way to think about it is that the mayor's office is primarily responsible for the day-to-day operations of the city. And so the supervising the departments and the daily work that departments do. So more of the programming and the day-to-day work. And then the council retains sort of the legislative authority. So that's the policy making, the ordinances. So the mayor's office and city council coordinate on both of those things, but that's sort of the distinction that made that change. Before it was a lot more intertwined, and now that's like a little bit more of a distinct sort of roles and responsibilities. So there will probably be some upcoming changes in terms of the structure within our city, as we refer to it, enterprise. And if any of those are of interest or impacting the Food Council, I'll be happy to share as those changes and decisions are made moving forward. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's sort of big picture. How does the Food Council fit into the larger context?
It's beautiful. Is there any questions or anyone have any comments? Well, in that case, I'll move to Tamara. Do you want to go ahead and do a little introduction of the Homegrown Minneapolis Initiative and the Food Action Plan?
Yes, and I will be brief, and I think we'll have a lot more time at our next meeting for some of this, as we have some really engaging trivia that will follow what I share with you. And so I don't want to take too much time on something less engaging. Hold on one second, if my screen will cooperate. It seems to be just spinning, which is, of course, what would happen now. So I'll just start talking since it is not wanting to allow me to use my PowerPoint. So Homegrown Minneapolis is a city community partnership, as we've discussed, and it's an initiative that includes the Food Council, but a number of other projects that staff work on. And so I serve as the Homegrown Minneapolis coordinator, but I'm really fortunate to have here other team members who are also really expanding our capacity and enabling us to do so much more. And that was Tong Tao, Grace Root, and Abdi Khalik Sahal, who you met. Grace being AmeriCorps Vista with us for nearly the past year, and just really grateful to have that group working with us to support the Food Council. With Tong, I will just say kind of with each of these quick bits about our work that we have somebody who's maybe playing a bit more of a primary role. I am the official staff of the Food Council, but Tong is helping with some of the administrative work. You've seen some emails from Tong and Hattie, and so we have a number of people you'll hear from to try to help kind of make sure that we've got all our I's dotted and T's crossed, and that's very important for us as a transparent and accountable city to make sure we are following all those rules. And so thank you for your participation in those requirements that you've had so far and to come. But Tong has been very helpful there, and kind of Grace and Abdi Khalik as projects kind of evolve with the Food Action Plan and the Food Council. We've got the Garden Lease program. Some folks talked about urban ag. The Garden Lease program, I think we'll talk a bit more about in the next meeting. Really, a lot of Food Council action and policy activism has enabled that program to be leasing over 60 city-owned vacant lots to community. And that is land owned by the Public Works and the housing divisions of the city, departments of the city, in a way that is a kind of year-to-year lease for community and market gardens. And so we co-coordinate that with CPED. And I should also mention that CPED has a staff representative to the Food Council who's not been named yet for this term. So Andrea mentioned the City Council rep who will be named. We also are awaiting our CPED rep. Swato Abdi was our most recent CPED rep, and so we'll be at full strength of 25, including Kim Havey, our sustainability director, who could not join us tonight. Additionally, we do a lot of work with farmers markets, and so really great to be having some of those managers like Devon here since the beginning of my time with the Food Council, where we have a Farmers Markets of Minneapolis collaborative, and that group is really working on goals. And Jenny, of course, East Isles, you know, I think we've really, I've known people with so many different hats. It's really fun to, in this moment, come in collaboration in new ways. And so Farmers Markets of Minneapolis is a collaborative effort between the markets, the city, and the university is a great partner. We've got the food security work, which has been mentioned. We have been both involved in granting funds to support hunger relief through partnership with community-based organizations. Brandon, I got to know Sane Foundation through a collaboration over at Powderhorn Park and then Corcoran in a actual food distribution that we, for a brief period of time, engaged in helping to implement at the city. And that was a real learning experience for myself about the hunger relief system, and so appreciate all of the effort that goes into helping provide emergency food relief, and just what a need that is, a real kind of heart-wrenching, overwhelming need for so many of our community members. Additionally, we have communications and outreach efforts. I want you all to be aware of the the newsletter that goes out about once a month. The e-newsletter is a resource for you all to share information and for the community to get that information. And it doesn't require you to be a food council member or a city staff to include information. We have jobs, grants, news, city related, it's local food system related information, of course, but this is something, you know, Kate's MPS farm to school coordinator job will be in that. I think I'm sending tomorrow. It goes to about 5,100 subscribers. And so think of this as a way that is a vehicle of our initiative to share important opportunities with the community and for this group to also engage in our website as well. So love to have you all, if you haven't looked at the Minneapolis.gov/homegrown, we're going through a website transition, and we're kind of in the in limbo part with Homegrown. So what you see now when you look is not the way it will look in a few months when we've gotten to migrate with the rest of our wonderful city content to the new website structure and look more pretty and more white space again, as we did in our last iteration. So that is, like the newsletter, another resource to the initiative to share with the community, and we try to be a bit of a one-stop shop to the degree our capacity allows. So those just some highlights of the initiative and the work the staff is doing in the across the initiative. And the food action plan is really, it's staff plus food council and community and university partnership. So we'll talk a lot more about the food action plan at the next meeting and really go in depth. We'll have Hikaru Peterson from the University of Minnesota Applied Econ Department, who's also been a partner on the farmers market metrics project, but is also a partner in the food action plan. And so I don't want to say too much more on that. I can shift quickly to the important election that we will be having next month and leave a little time for some trivia, which I think we'll need to also carry into the next meeting. And so one really important thing to note, as Kate mentioned, she has been a co-chair. She was the elected co-chair. Marcus is our mayorally appointed 2-year term co-chair who will co-lead with a to be elected co-chair, hopefully at our next meeting. We would have somebody who between now and then will throw their hat in the ring, one or more somebodies, to be considered in an election as the co-chair with Marcus of this group. And that is a year-to-year election. So Marcus's term is a 2-year term of mayoral appointment, and the election happens annually. Not just, though, for co-chair. There are 4 opportunities in front of you. We will elect 3 executive committee members who will, in partnership with Marcus, the other co-chair, and myself, form the executive committee, and that group does agenda setting for the Food Council once a month, and you know, over the years has put in a lot of time. And I see Devon's face. Devon has served as co-chair, as executive committee member. I think you've got some pretty brilliant members here who could share what that's been like, and just it's been fun. I don't know if I heard anybody say fun yet. You know, we had so much fun together, and we would eat good food. And I heard, you know, comments about small business, and we used to rotate, which will, if we can ever get back in person together, these meetings to different food-based locations and taste delicious food together, you know, breaking the bread and really learning together in really amazing community spaces. And as a small group of executive committee and as a large group of food council, we're here to do those things that have the results as mentioned. But I think that's what's brought people like those who are continuing back, is just that we have a good time together. And so keep that in mind. This isn't your regular type of committee you would be going in for. This is something very special and different, and we continue to make it to the degree possible in this environment. So I will send out an email following this meeting with that. Let me know if you're interested in putting yourself on the list for the co-chair or executive committee election. We'll need a couple sentences stating your interest, and that will go to the whole group in the meeting materials. And you'll also have a chance to verbalize your interest as well at that meeting before the election. And so just stay tuned for that email. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask those members who are returning and can share what that experience might be like. Any questions now before I hand it over for a tiny bit of trivia? They work so hard on this, and they'll I know be happy to come back next month and give you the rest of this trivia experience. And we do need to save just at least a couple minutes before the meeting ends for the vote on our 2022 calendar. So we probably have time for about 8 minutes, seven minutes of trivia.
All right. Yeah, so we were thinking we can run till about 7:25,
somewhere in there. So that's just about 5 minutes here, 5-6 minutes.
No worries. So I'll talk really fast, and we'll see how much we can get through. Me and Modric worked on this. We're going to do a little poll here to see how much people remember, and also, no worries, if not, just give you a hint at what's in all those materials that Tamara sent out. There are 2 ways you can access the poll. You can either scan the QR code that is on your screen with your phone, and it should pop up a little link that you can click on, or you can type in the link, which is etc.ch/QJ_HB, and that will stay here at the bottom of the screen as well. And I'll give people just a few seconds to hop on. You can phone, computer, or we can just observe the answers if that's your preferred way. But I will get that started since I can't see anyone. I'll just get the question started, and we'll see how many votes we can get. We're the first one. We'll start out with a fun one. How many licensed backyard chicken coops were there in 2021? Let's see how many people think. Exciting.
And this is in Minneapolis, right?
Yes.
This is the context
this
for
is
all
in
of
Minneapolis.
the questions.
not the whole country, the state, Minneapolis. All right, give it a few more seconds. We've got 16 people voting, which is a pretty good chunk. All right.
I'd say keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that's how it's going. The correct answer is 350. There was a lot of great Food Council efforts to make the process easier for participants. So that's awesome. Good job to those 4 people. Our next question is going to be, how many members are there on the Food Council? Should all know this. It's super easy. Yeah. Good job. We've got 25 people on the Food Council, 15 community reps and 10 otherwise. The next question is, based off of that, how many members make quorum that we need to be able to have to meet? Good work. Got a few more. All right. Yes, it is 13. So that is our magic number that we need before we can kick off any meeting business. So based off of that, what can happen in a meeting without quorum? Going. All right, so the correct answer, I'm sorry, is going to be nothing. We can't do anything. We can have a casual chat, but no discussion of anything Food Council related due to open meeting laws. All right, and I've got one more, and then I'll pass it over to Abdi Khalik. How many Food Council co-chairs are there? Awesome. The answer is going to be 2. And I will pass that over to my colleague, Abdi Khalik, for the next question.
Yes, hey everyone. Next question is going to be, how are the co-chairs decided?
Oh, and to clarify, you should be able to have a possible multi-choice option here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun special question feature.
Awesome. Next one is going to be, how long is the term for a Food Council member, and how many terms can you serve? And no one's getting graded here or anything like that, just for fun.
All right.
Awesome. 2 years.
So we do need to verbalize the answers and the questions.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
Rules of the city. So make sure we are vocalizing what that answer was. Thanks.
Absolutely. For this one, it's true false question. Working groups or task forces can be formed to tackle specific areas of Food Council work. True or false. And a lot of people are coming in, and as we'll see, the answer will be true on this one.
I think due to our time constraints, we will need to just pause there and unfortunately hold the rest of the questions for our February meeting. So in the meantime, you can certainly brush up on your knowledge for the rest of those questions. But we do need to, yes, thank you so much, Grace and Abdi Khalik, for preparing that.
Yes.
I do want to acknowledge that Kim Havey did join. We didn't get a chance to hear from you, Kim, in the meeting. So I think next meeting you're going to get is a good spotlight. Is there anything you'd like to say now that you are here to introduce yourself to the group, though?
Well, thank you, Tamara. Sorry I was a little late here getting into the meeting. I look forward to working with you all. I'm very interested in supporting the Food Action Plan, as you know, carbon emissions and transitioning to a green, clean economy has a huge basis in our food production and the way we get our food, and of course in the health of our communities. So anyway, I'm really excited to be part of it. I'm a big foodie. I just came back from a vacation where basically I cooked for like 10 people every night in a 3-bedroom condo, and it was great. So I had a really fun time going to food markets in Mexico. And so anyway, feeling well rested, and look forward to a good 2022. So thank you, everyone, and congratulations to new members. It's a great group to be with, and Tamara and team is fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. That sounds like an amazing adventure you had. So that's great. I think our last item of business is looking at the proposed 2022 meeting calendar. And really outside of today's meeting, it follows the second Wednesday of the month rhythm. So you would anticipate the second Wednesday evening of each month from 5:30 to, we cannot officially say that the meeting ends at 7:30. That is what we aim for. But according to the city rules, we announce a start time, and then we, as a group, operationally try to stick to the end by 7:30. Sometimes we end early, and rarely we go very late, but it is a 5:30 proposed second Wednesday evening of the month with that calendar, and it would require a motion and a second and a vote unless there is any proposed amendments to any of the dates. And
I
sorry, go on.
I will motion to approve it.
I'll second that.
Beautiful. With that, I'll ask Tamara to, take roll on that motion.
All right, one moment here. Sorry, my computer just froze. Oh, I should add while I am pulling that back up that we did get an update that the online meetings will not have a specific end date at this point. So the meeting location is online until the city council and mayor decide to end the public health emergency. So it is a vote we'll be taking on these dates with online meetings, just to be clear, until we are able to go back to hybrid or in person. Okay, Kavelin Alandez.
Yay.
Jenny Breen.
Yay.
Keely Cervantes. Matt Kirsten.
Aye.
Jalen Elam.
Yay.
Kevin Ellis.
Yay.
Green.
Yay.
Brandon Griffin.
Yay.
Rebecca Gross.
Yay.
Kim Hevy.
Yay.
Inoue.
Yay.
Danielle Isaacson.
Yay.
Marcus Carr.
Yay.
Kevin Kalpersuth.
Yay.
Kristen Klingler.
Yay.
Will Lucker.
Yay.
James Miller.
Yay.
Leslie Modric.
Yay.
Liz Mullen. Devon Nolan. Schnoes. Kate Siebold.
Yay.
Well, is there anybody who did not have a chance to vote?
This is Julie.
With 18 yeas, it does pass.
Okay.
There was somebody who was trying to.
Awesome.
Okay.
The motion passes.
We have a new Food Council 2022 meeting calendar, which I will send out to you all, and you will receive in the form of Outlook invitations as well. So anticipate, unfortunately, I cannot send a series. I need to send a separate meeting invite for every single meeting. So you'll get 11 different individual meetings as Outlook invitations sent to you, as well as the full calendar as an attachment in a separate email. So thank you all.
Oh my God, we're 3 minutes past time, but still on time, right? So, I just want to say thank you to everybody. With that, we've completed all the items on the agenda for the meeting. Thanks to everyone, council members, community members for joining tonight and participating in the discussions. I'm looking forward to, the coming months. To our outgoing members, just thank you so much for your leadership and service, the Homegrown Minneapolis Food Council and our communities. Do any council member or staff have any matters that they wish to bring before the council adjourns? Well, if not, without objection, I declare the meeting adjourned. happy 2022, and I'm looking forward to our work together. And our next Food Council meeting will be in February. Is that date set yet, Tamara? February
9th, February 9th. We just adopted our confirmation of February 9th as our next meeting. I will send you the invitation if you haven't gotten it yet, and look forward to seeing you all then.
Beautiful. In the meantime, you can always reach out to Homegrown at homegrown@minneapolismn.gov. And thank you, everyone, and have a good night.